Hello and welcome to the creation and validation of a general accounting expense transaction, or GAX, in order to view the impact of the front-end split functionality on posting lines in AZ360. This video will utilize cost structure elements created and modified in the previous cost accounting setup transaction and cost accounting modification transaction video tutorials. We will be demonstrating this process in one of our test environments, and the screen has been zoomed in for optimal viewing. Notice that we are on the AZ360 homepage and the Grants and Cost Accounting business role has been selected in the top right of the screen. In our training scenario, now that a cost accounting structure and corresponding budgets for the federal grant have been established, an expenditure transaction will be created to post against the cost accounting elements of the structure. We will create a GAX transaction to request a payment of $1,000 for professional services related to the CDC grant. The GAX will be validated, and we will then review the transaction's posting lines to view the impact of the front-end split, funding priority inference, and program period inference dates. Okay, let's get started. To create a new GAX transaction, we will navigate to the global search menu and we'll enter GAX. We will click the expand caret and we'll ensure that page code has been selected. In the global search field, we will enter GAX. We will then select general accounting expense from the drop-down that generates. The GAX financial transaction page will open. We will click the Create button in the top right. In the Transaction Department field, we will enter our department 3-digit code, in this scenario, ADA. And we'll check off the auto-numbering checkbox and click Continue. Notice that a new GAX transaction has generated and opens to the Header tab. The transaction is in draft. The version number is 1. Function is new and status is held. Okay, we'll navigate to the Vendor tab. In the tab level action section, go ahead and click the plus icon to add a new vendor line. In the vendor customer field, we will utilize the pick list. And in the vendor customer search field, we will enter the code for the vendor customer in this case. Okay, screen has loaded. We will type in vendor code 000-10422 and then click search. And the result in the grid at the bottom of the screen, HealthNet Access Incorporated, is the vendor we are using in this scenario. So that is correct, and we'll go ahead and click OK. Notice that the legal name, alias, and address code fields are all still blank. When you click Save, those values will infer based on the information on the vendor customer page VCust record for this vendor. Okay, go ahead and click the Accounting tab. In the tab level action section, click the plus icon again to add a new accounting line. On the blue accounting line, line amount field, we will enter the amount of the payment, so $1,000. In the department field, we will enter our department 3-digit code, ADA. And we will be utilizing a function in this case to showcase the function inference feature in AZ360. So go ahead in this case and type in GAO 5 and then followed by 6 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we're going to scroll the line all the way to the right. In the object field, we will enter 6259. We'll scroll back all the way to the left and click the expand caret. And then the COA section. Okay, in the program field, we will enter CDC PROG, which is the only program on the CDC grant scenario. We'll scroll down to the left, and in the department object field, we will enter 6259. Okay, go ahead and click Save, and then click Validate to check for errors. Okay. Note that other COA have inferred upon validation of the transaction, one of which is program period. Program periods can be manually entered, but this scenario is showcasing how the program period inference date logic infers the program period. We will now showcase which fields have inferred. Some COA have also inferred into the accounting line based on the function inference. So in this case, by using the function, the fund of 1,000 and the appropriation field here have inferred based on the function value. Go ahead and click the expand caret, navigate to the COA section, and you'll note that the program period has inferred. The program period was inferred by the program period inference date logic. In the previous Create a CAM transaction video demonstrations, program period CDC 23 was created with an inference date range of May 1st, 2022 to April 30th, 2040. The record date of the GAX transaction, February 20th, 2024 in this case, is within the inference date range of the program period, so AZ360 automatically selected CDC 23 as the program period to infer into the transaction. Keep in mind the inference date range for the other program period on this program, so program period CDC 22, was May 1st, 2021 through April 30th, 2022. AZ360 did not select this program period as the date of the transaction is after the end of the inference date. As we scroll through the COA section, notice that the funding profile, funding priority, and funding line are not COA included on the accounting line. Most transaction types, including the GAX, do not allow funding profile hierarchy information to be entered on accounting lines. Funding profile information is inferred directly into the posting lines. To view these details, we will now navigate to the Posting tab. Okay, first we will navigate to the line column header to ensure that our lines are in the right order. Notice that there are two posting lines, even though there was only one accounting line created. Posting line 1 has a posting amount of $750, while posting line 2 has an amount of $250. Taken together, these lines total $1,000, which is the total amount on the accounting line. Okay. We'll go ahead and click the expand caret on posting line 1 and then navigate to the COA section. Keep in mind that this is the federal funded funding line of the grant. Okay. Notice that the funding profile CDCELIG2 was inferred into the posting line, displayed here. This inference occurred based on the FPI4 page entry that included program period CDC23 as criteria to infer funding profile CDCELIG2. This FPI4 page entry was created in the Creating ACAM Video Demonstration videos that created program period CDC23. Remember that funding profile CDCELIG2 was created with one funding priority with two funding lines, a 75% federal funding line and a 25% non-federal state-funded funding line. Notice that posting line 1 for $750 inferred the COA included in the front-end split COA section of funding line 1. So funding line 1 displayed here. Okay, we're going to scroll back up to the top here, and you'll see that the fund AD 2000 is also included, which is the federal grants fund. Note that any COA fields without an entry in the front-end split COA section of the funding line retain the COA from the accounting line of the GAX. For example, the object value and the department object value remain the same from the accounting tab of the GAX. We'll go ahead and collapse line 1, and we'll now review line 2 by clicking the expand caret and navigating to the COA section. Notice that posting line 2 for $250 inferred the COA included in the front-end split COA section of funding line 2, the state funding line. And here's funding line 2, whereas on the other line it was denoted by funding line 1. Scroll back up to the top, and in the fund field, you'll notice that 1,000 is listed, which is the general fund. Now that the posting lines have been viewed to identify the 75% federal and 25% non-federal split, the transaction can be submitted. Go ahead and click Submit to submit the transaction to your next line approver. Okay, the transaction has submitted successfully, and we have completed the creation and validation of a general accounting expense, or GAX, transaction in order to view the impact of the front-end split feature on posting lines. Close this window to return to the CBT.